Yo, what's Gucci, everybody? It's your boy K Dot, first Black Super Saiyan in the world about from this point. I'm back here with another video. Free my boy Kang, hashtag free Kang gang. What's good, everybody? Oh shit. Ooh. Okay, thought it didn't do okay. Yes, free Kang gang. What's good with everybody in the chat? I'm not sure who's gonna join, but I'm gonna hold it down. Got 3 topics we gotta hit. Gotta talk about. First things first, we're going to knock out John Wick. This is not a spoiler review. We're just going to talk about the successful opening weekend of John Wick Chapter 4. Man, that John Wick Chapter 4 experience was a good one. Let me just tell y'all how my theater experience went. So I saw the movie twice. Now, the first time I seen it, I watched it and I was, it was before work and I couldn't finish it. I got to the third act. Yeah, I'll send you one. I got to the third act. Shit. I got to the third act on my first viewing and I couldn't finish the movie. So I came back later on my second viewing, which was the day after, finished up the movie, watched it. It was dope, epic action. I'll just say this. The knife sequence from John Wick 3 does not make a return. So, yeah. That's one thing that made me mad about John Wick 4 was that they didn't have like a knife sequence again. And that shit was in John Wick 3, that knife sequence was tight. That knife sequence does not return in John Wick 4. So let me just let y'all know. Knives do return though. But that knife fight in John Wick 3 at the beginning, bruh, that shit was epic. That's some great choreography. Moving forward, Matt Reeves or James Gunn, for these Batman movies, y'all better get the John Wick stunt crew. They need to get the John Wick stunt crew for these Batman movies. They begin these random ass directors and shit. Y'all these random, stunt crew and shit. The John Wick 4 stunt team is who you need for a Batman movie. That's who you need for a Batman movie. But let's look at the box office of John Wick 4. So far, the box office run isn't done. The movie only came out Thursday. We're going to take a look at it real quick. What's up, Brell? I haven't seen John Wick 4 yet. Go check it out. John Wick 4 is really good. Let me share my screen. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. And the stunt crew for the Batman is all right. Once you guys go watch John Wick 4, you'll see what I mean when I say these people need to be the stunt team for a Batman movie. The action scenes in John Wick Chapter 4 is what I need to start seeing in all Batman movies in general moving forward. Warner Brothers, y'all need to start utilizing this stunt team. They're really fucking good. As far as like Hollywood action goes, and most of these you have like there's a lot of influence from Asia, from Asian cinema for how the action is done. Jackie Chan and all that. This is what I need to be seeing in these Batman movies, Shang-Chi, like all these movies that feature martial arts. It needs to be like this. Because one thing about John Wick is that they show the stamina and they show when the stamina runs out for these fighters in this movie. Yes, the plot armor is still crazy. John Wick's plot armor in this movie is insane. But let me tell y'all this. They show the stamina, they show the endurance. It's somewhat realistic with the combat. It's not completely bullshit. But everyone, go watch John Wick 4. What's good with you, Arkham?
So wait. Oh, I did see that movie. I really liked it. But like with the stunt crew,
John Wick 4?
Yeah, John Wick. I really liked it. In my opinion, I feel like it's probably hot take. It's the best out of the franchise.
Wait, the fourth one?
Yeah, I really liked it.
I'm kind of bouncing between 3 and 4. But I really like 3 because the opening knife fight sequence, and I thought that was very unique. action
Yeah,
sequence to do with just knives and stuff, and it was very choreographed very well. This movie had good action too. I thought it had a good ending.
yeah.
Um, I thought Donnie Yen's character was a huge highlight in the movie,
Do
and
you
Mister
think?
Mister Nobody.
Do you think with the ending, um, they could do fifth movie, or do you think that they don't need to?
I think that's gonna be a spinoff, but okay, so they have I have it up here. So they have a John Wick spinoff in the works, right? So the spinoff is gonna be about Winston, the guy who owns the New York Continental,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be 3 90-minute episodes on Peacock. So that's gonna be a spinoff. Then you have another spinoff with Ana de Armas, and John Wick's supposed to show up in that, so I guess it's a prequel. And
the,
I'm wondering if the Asian girl who was the daughter. Not
yeah,
you know what I'm talking. I'm not without spoiling. I feel like hopefully she gets a spinoff with what they left off and how they ended it, especially in the post credit scene when it faded to black. Hopefully she gets a spinoff because they kind of left that open. They didn't really give a conclusion to it. They left
yeah,
it really ambiguous on where they can go with that scenario.
yeah. Maybe the spinoff leads into like after the events of four.
With which one? The Ana de Armas one or the one with the Asian girl? Because we don't know if the Asian girl is going to get a spinoff yet. I'm hoping.
I was saying the Asian girl if like if she gets one.
Okay. Yeah, it should take place after 4, if it does, because you need to give some closure. I think you should give some closure with her, and I can't even say the character I was spoiling. You know what I'm talking about, with the character that you did the thing to
Yeah,
her loved one. I hopefully there is some closure with that. But as far as the 4 movies we got so far with John Wick, I thought all of them were honestly amazing. It started off great and it got bigger and better each film. These films remind me of Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon 1 through 4. 1, great. 2, even better. 3, even better than the last. And 4, a grand finale. Like, there's only a few movies that can have 4 films in a franchise and really pull it off. And not many franchises can pull that off. Usually, they only have 1 or 2 good films out of their 4. And it's the same thing with trilogies and stuff. Usually, most trilogies that are average end up having 2 bad movies and maybe 1 good movie, or 2 good movies and one bad movie.
I
But
hate I hate trilogies to be honest. They should just stop with 3 movies to be honest. Not stop with 3 movies, but like you could do like beyond 3 movies to be honest. Like say example for the Batman, like you can do like you can do past 3 movies. I just don't like this trilogy nonsense with superheroes. Te- because you can there's so many stories with superheroes that you really don't need to limit yourself to 3 movies to be honest.
yeah, well, it also, and I don't disagree with you, because it depends. Hold on. It depends where it's set in. Like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. It
Yeah,
was not in this big. It was not in this big contained cinematic universe, right? Originally, we were supposed to get a Spider-Man 4, but after Sony fucked up Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi didn't even want to really do it anymore. But for superheroes, especially if you're in a cinematic universe, you shouldn't just really limit yourself to just 3 movies.
yeah, like in my opinion, because we got Brave and the Bold, there should be technically 2 trilogies. The one would be focused. The first 3 movies will be focused on whatever story, and the second will be focused on second. Like the reason why I know Tom Holland is getting another trilogy, the
Yeah,
college trilogy.
Spider-Man
No,
4 to 6.
no matter how people feel about the Spider-Man movies in the MCU, I feel like certain they should go by that roadmap and do like you have three movies for this section, these kind of stories, and you could do another section. Like I'm not saying do like 20 movies or something like that. No,
Right.
like, but you can do 3 movies for that specific story. You can and 3 more movies and end up with a conclusion.
Well, it also, man, we seen so far in the MCU they're doing that. Captain America 4 is gonna be coming out. Spider-Man 4. We seen Thor. You know, Thor is probably, I think, the first character that finally is getting another movie before everybody else out of his trilogy.
Yeah.
Now the problem is with that, we see that Thor doesn't need any more sequels because his movies aren't good in general. His movies aren't good. Now, it's not to say all like Captain America, right? So far, he has 3 solid movies, and they're about to do a Captain America 4 with Sam Wilson and continue it. Iron Man only has 1 good film in his trilogy. I mean, they killed off his character. It's not to say they can't do an Iron Man 4 with some other character that's with the same name, but I think based off how good the films are, that's when you start to dictate, okay, this character needs to get more films. This character needs to get more films. Because I don't want every single character, even if they're like one of the big A-list A-tier characters. But if their movies don't have good track record, I don't want to see more than 3.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it's just like Thor. It got dragged on to the point where, you know, they went in too deep with Taika Waititi, and you know he's getting on Twitter and stuff saying, you know, my movie script it was written by 5-year-olds. Like that's supposed to impress us or something. Like, dude, you're giving us scripts that 5-year-olds can literally write. I mean, why are we continuing more Thor movies and this is the quality?
Yeah, for me, I can agree with that. Like certain, I don't think Thor really needed a 4th movie, to be honest.
Agreed.
Iron Man, like, I like the first one. The second one's okay. The third one sucks. The third one's the worst out of all of them, to be honest. Yeah. I don't care what people say. It's trash. And like, yeah, it depends on the quality, but I don't think like I never really. But if we're talking about like probably DC and Batman, like I would say you have tons of story with that character that you can do.
Yeah, that's a character you for sure you give more attention to, and you keep them going.
And like, there never's been a bad Batman movie.
Yeah. And if you just to tie it back into John Wick, right?
Yeah.
Without spoiling, John Wick can continue. Is not going to continue the way people think it should continue, but the stuff it sets up, the characters within it, you can literally spin off into so many different things. Not say these are going to be direct sequels, some of these are going to be prequels, but the way it set things up, and without revealing certain characters too, I'd say there's probably 4 different series you can spin off at this point. So far, they're spinning off 2 that I do want to see, and then there's 2 more that I think they can definitely pull off. And the one I want to see is a series about the people at the high table. The high table. I want to see a series based around how they came to be. I want to see who the high table is. That's what I want to see. I want to see who the members are on, who the members of this table.
Yeah, that's the most intriguing part. Like, I think like it goes in so many different avenues. I would say like it goes in without spoiling it. It goes in like very.
I love it, Hanzo.
It goes in very different avenues that you could do multiple spinoffs without spoiling. Like I'm terrible at not spoiling shit. But this is why I never do spoiler streams when I stream.
I'm gonna do a spoiler review soon because this is just kind of just to cover the box office opening weekend success of John Wick, and I'll just say for an opening weekend, this is really good. Um, for the
I
end
don't
result, I don't know what it's gonna be. Well, let me see. Let me let me bring up how well the first John Wick films did.
I think it did pretty good. Like I don't know, didn't
'Cause I know they didn't do bad, but I want to see how much they made overall.
I think around 5 million or something like that. I think around there.
They got it right here. All right. So John Wick 1 made 86 million. The budget was 20 million. Really good. You look at John Wick 2, 171 million off a budget, no budget. It probably didn't go up that much, but it was really good.
How much the budget for four?
They haven't revealed it yet. So look at 3, budget 75, and it made 327 million. So these movies are making profit. Now, if this movie does way more than okay, now we're looking at this budget, right? John Wick 3 is probably maybe 90 million. I'm guessing around like 90 million. John Wick 4 is probably 90 million. But on a low budget, these movies are really sorry guys, my throat and shit. It's dry. On a low budget, these movies look great. This film particularly, I thought the cinematography was probably the best part of this movie. Like the colors and everything, those neon lights and stuff in the backgrounds, they looked really good in this movie, especially when they was in Japan.
And the fight scenes. Oh my god, I love the fight scenes. Like I would say like the fight scenes of John Wick is pretty much my favorite. Like, and I do agree. Like, you could get the stunt team for Batman. Like, I don't disagree.
I mean,
with that.
I'd recommend it. Like specifically just for the Batman films, I think you need to get these. Like even Matt Reeves, he needs a better stunt team. I didn't hate the action in the Batman, but it was like, it was fine. As far as the combat and everything, I think he can do well with the John Wick stunt crew and have their choreography team really come in and give Batman kind of this John Wick-esque action style. Because I think Batman totally would fit this and stuff. He would fit John Wick's action. And also with Matt Reeves' Batman, they show that, he gets, just like in the John Wick films, in most time Batman in Batman movies, he doesn't get tired. His plot armor is that he doesn't get tired. Yeah. Matt Reeves the Batman, they showed, he took the adrenaline, he was getting tired and stuff. That can play a big part into, these Matt Reeves the Batman. Because the John Wick films literally follow the same type of beats. The characters get tired. They're not completely invincible. They have bullshit plot armor, but they show them get short-winded and tired and have to take a break in the middle of the fight just so they can gather themselves and then continue to fight again.
Yeah.
So I think Matt Reeves should totally utilize these people for the Batman Part 2. And also James Gunn should utilize them for Brave and the Bold. But Brave and the Bold's action needs to be like Zack Snyder's, warehouse scene minus the killing.
It also, like, I wouldn't mind the John Wick crew, but also depends on where he wants to take the Batman character, because right now it's in year 2, so it seems like he wants the fighting to be a little sloppy with Batman.
Well, is for the Batman Part 2, he said it's going to be a time jump, so probably going to jump up 3 years. I'm guessing like a 3 to 4 year time jump.
I do want a new suit. I think a new suit's required, to be honest.
Yeah, he's definitely getting a new one. If he does, look, this is my thing. If he does keep the same one, I won't be mad at it, because I do miss having superheroes that kind of just stick to wearing the same suit.
Yeah.
And it's not really too, like the Tobey Spider-Man movies the early Superman movies, Michael Keaton Batman films, where heroes, because it is just like that in the comics too. Like not every issue they don't get a new suit. It's probably every couple years they're going to get a new suit because a new writer might come in. But
Yeah.
as far as the different issues, like issue 1 to 2, same suit. Issue 1 to 3, same suit. It's not nothing drastically different unless it's a suit that is there for a story reason. For example, Batman's fighting Mr. Freeze. He might want to use a suit that's freeze resistant.
Yeah.
It can handle it can handle ice and stuff. So that's that. So the movies have taken that concept of heroes using temporary suits and literally do it in every single movie now. Every sequel, it's a new suit, new suit, new suit, and the sequels are not even that far apart from each other. These characters get like, because I guarantee you in Captain America 4, Sam's going to get a new suit. I guarantee you Sam's going to get a new suit. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man's getting a new suit in Spider-Man 4.
How much are you willing to bet?
$20.
Yeah, I probably agree.
Wait, let me add some. They're either going to get a new suit or it's going to be slightly altered from what we've seen. So the suit in Falcon Winter Soldier is going to be slightly altered or completely different.
Yeah, like for me, I wouldn't mind. Like, I don't think Batman really has to get a whole new suit, but alter certain things, because I think my one issue is the symbol does not look like a bat, to be honest, because it doesn't have the ears within the.
It's just
make it
the wings and that's it.
Yeah, you just have to make small alterations, like. But that's it. Like that's my only. There's only certain gripes I have about the suit, but other than that,
I think like less a suit that's less bulky, but like Kevlar bulletproof.
Yeah.
But a lot just give him a suit that's a lot slimmer, not too heavy. But his suit in the Batman makes sense, him starting with something bulky and big and then downgrading to something, not downgrading, but upgrading to a smaller, lightweight suit that's also just as strong as his previous suit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. You guys, we're about to get into the next topic, but you guys, I recommend everybody here go watch John Wick 4. My review of it is going to come this week. Spoiler review. I'm going to talk about it. Might do a stream on it or release a solo video. But John Wick is starting off great at the box office. So far, I've seen it 2 times. Might go see it a 3rd time. I don't know. But I'm just glad to see a bunch of people at the theaters enjoying themselves. I saw this in IMAX. Oh, last thing, the sound design in this movie, the sound, amazing. That opening sequence when John is punching the thing and punching that board and the sound, that boom, boom, that shit is dope in IMAX. Look, you guys, do not watch this shit at home. Don't bootleg it. Go watch this in theaters. That's the only way to experience the sound I experience. Or if you got some really good speakers, you're not going to experience what we experienced. This was really dope. You need to watch in IMAX or Dolby, not standard. Any last things you want to say on John Wick 4 Arkham before we move on to the next topic?
No. I really like it. I would say 9/10 for me.
9 out of 10. I'll probably give it a 10 out of 10, honestly.
I don't usually give things a 10 out of 10. I don't know, like, I would like to give things, like, I do think it's a 10 out of 10, but, like, 9 out, I don't usually give things 10 out of 10 because, like, I don't know. For me, there's no perfect movie in the world, and there's always gripes. So it's like, that's why.
Well, if John Wick 4 has issues, but I think this is a perfect, like, action movie in general. So it's not say it's like the best action movie ever. Like but you take everything that an action movie needs, and John Wick has everything you need in an action movie. The one-liners, solid main character to follow, great music, uh, great action, the bullshit plot armor, everything. Like it literally has everything you need in an action movie. And also great side characters too, and good villains. Great side characters and good villains. All right, you guys, moving on to the next topic. We're going to talk Shazam Fear of the Gods and the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania being box office failures. Now, there's only one movie out of these two that is really good, and it's Shazam 2.
Yeah.
Quantumania. Yeah. But the point still stands. Both of these movies, regardless, and this is why I'm kind of glad that it's not just a DC movie, it's an MCU movie too.
Right,
yeah, so I'm not completely mad at it. It's like, well, they're both failures.
Yeah, it's like at least like Shazam failed, a Marvel movie failed at the same time. It's like if it's like the saying, or like if you go down, I'm taking you with me.
Right. Now, I saw somebody put out a tweet talking about both of these, and I agreed with this. So someone put out a tweet saying that. Well, let me bring up the tweet. What's good, RJ? RJ was actually part of the thread. He might know what I'm talking about. But someone basically put out a tweet saying that both these franchises specifically, not say that they aren't good, right? Not say that they aren't good. The Ant-Man and the Shazam franchise, right? But one thing about both these franchises in the current DC and Marvel, they never had a big draw to them, right? And the box office shows that Shazam 1, while it was profitable, the box office draw was not like Aquaman, which engaged more interest. You know what I'm saying? Or something like maybe Suicide Squad 2016. But that's a totally different thing. That was not even a good movie. But the box office shows engagement, right? And Shazam's engagement didn't show Aquaman numbers of engagement. And let me bring up this tweet. I liked it. Damn. What's good, Dark Star? Good to see you guys. We're going to get to Jonathan Major soon, and then we're going to get ready to end this stream because I got to get some sleep. How you doing this morning, though, Arkham?
Good. Yeah, I'm going to work at 2.
Wait, what time is it there for you right now? You're East Coast, right?
Yeah, 11:58.
Okay. Damn, where is it?
Where are you looking for?
It's a tweet. This RJ was literally under the thread. It's a tweet where a guy was talking about basically both these franchises have no engagement like that, and something like John Wick, which always had kind of more engagement than the others, is doing well because there's more people that want to see it, right? And I can kind of agree to an extent. While I like Shazam 1, it did not have that much engagement like that. It had a potential to gain more engagement, but there were so many different factors that was keeping it from getting to there. For example, The Rock suppressing a potential crossover with both of them, right? Because he was so focused on Superman, he didn't want a cameo in Shazam 1. There was supposed to be a cameo from him, and they had to do something different, like introduce Black Adam through a little that little vision thing. You remember the thing the wizard showed him, where it showed a vision of him destroying Kondak and then letting out the sins.
I think it's like a major factors, to be honest. I would say The Rock kind of has a problem with it too. Like
this it's not to say he's completely at fault. Warner Brothers Discovery is also at fault for not promoting this movie, right? Yeah. And while you guys, let me make this clear, I am totally open for James Gunn DC universe. I'm totally open for the reboot. I barely saw James Gunn promoting this movie either, right? And I think that's a fault on him for not promoting this movie too. being the leader of DC at this moment. Warner Brothers Discovery too, doing stuff in the marketing like spoiling parts of the movie, spoiling the Wonder Woman cameo. Not saying the Wonder Woman cameo is going to make a difference, but they didn't need to show that in the trailers. I get they wanted people to go see it, but if they wanted people to go see this movie, you should have showed the second trailer at the Super Bowl. That second trailer, they should have showed that at the Super Bowl along with Flash, because at least you're going to get more eyes on it. It's not to say that I was going to completely get this movie to make a bunch of money. But I guarantee you more people at the Super Bowl seeing it, casual people, would have helped, right? There were so many people not helping this movie that honestly, it doesn't, James Gunn barely promoted it. Warner Brothers Discovery barely promoted it. The
Rock.
Go ahead.
With the leak scene, David F. Sandberg did kind of confirm that it was an accident. It wasn't on purpose. Someone by accident leaked the Wonder. The Wonder Woman thing that you were talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was on accident. That wasn't on purpose. They were not. The employee by accident did it, and David S. Sandberg said, I don't know if that person got fired. I have no clue, but that was accident. That wasn't really on purpose. They really weren't intentionally trying to spoil it, but it's it was on purpose. I was just trying to.
So that Wonder Woman TV spot seemed like something that you will see after the movie comes out. That's why I was confused by it, because usually when the movie comes out, then that makes sense why they would release that, because the movie's already out.
Yeah, but
like I said, so many factors into it. The Rock. Now I've seen a lot of people critiquing the movie. Now, mind you, this movie was made with the intentions of being part of what Walter Hamada originally wanted before this reboot. So when James Gunn came in, they came in pretty late, and they couldn't really make any changes to help this movie because it was too late. David Zaslav already pushed the movie twice. I think that also hurt it too. Him pushing the release date twice, and we have seen when you push a release date of a movie back, we've seen it with New Mutants. How many times did that movie get pushed back? Over 4 times. And guess what? It did poorly at the box office because nobody cared anymore. When you push your movies back so much, people lose interest and they stop caring. And that's why you see some people saying, well, when does the movie come out? Because they changed the date so much, people didn't really know when it's going to come out. So there's so many factors into it. It's so many factors.
Yeah, I don't blame this on James Gunn. I really don't.
I don't blame it. I wish he marketed. That's what I just wish he marketed more. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah,
but as far as the movie, it was already done. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah, I understand why. I wish. I do agree. I wish it was would have been marketed.
If you want to join, let me know.
I wish it was marketed, but I do understand why they picked the Flash over Shazam. Which one? I wanted Shazam to be successful as all of them, but
I wanted Shazam to at least make profit, but it doesn't even look like it'll make at least profit at this point.
But I'm not. If I had to do speculation and stuff like that on my part, I kind of do feel like they probably didn't have plans with Shazam within was it Chapter 1? Is it called?
Yeah, Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters.
I feel like it will probably Shazam will probably be introduced in Chapter 2.
Yeah, and like I said, look, at the end of the day, I'm not. If this specific version of Shazam doesn't transition over, I'm not mad at it, because at the end of the day, I still got 2 Shazam movies that was really good that I got in my life. The movies aren't gone. It's like how, some people got they little BVS and stuff. Just because BVS is not part of the new universe doesn't mean BVS is completely gone. I got my Shazam movies. I can watch them anytime I want to watch them on any website or whatever. I still got them. But would they do something new with Shazam in this new universe? Fine by me.
I do hope they have the classic with the strap and everything like that. The one that I'm talking about from the comics.
With you mean the old school one?
Yeah, the sash and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. Knowing James Gunn, he might do it. I mean, we seen with we seen with Peacemaker. He kind of stuck closer to the comic suits for his recent DC characters that he done.
Yeah.
Some of them he upgraded, like Bloodsport. I think his Bloodsport suit upgrade was like honestly tremendous compared to his previous suit, which was just some army fatigue and red bandana. But
and it transferred over to
then to the comics, the recent Suicide Squad comic.
Yeah, now like I like how like the suits become more popular and they transition that look into comics, and it's actually good because I like the new Bloodsport design.
Darkstar said, "You guys think Blue Beetle's marketing will be somewhat better than Shazam's 2 marketing? If they don't market the movie as hard as they market a Batman or a Flash movie, nobody's not going to care. I'm not saying the Blue Beetle's on Batman's level, but all these characters need to get promoted equally. Because the fucked up thing is Agatha Harkness is going to get just as much promotion as WandaVision did.
And it'll probably do very well too. Huh? It'll probably do very well too because of that WandaVision. People want more WandaVision stuff, so
it probably will. And mind you, finally we got James. Finally, there's leadership in, but before this leadership, it's clear like even David Zaslav himself does not care about all these DC characters equally. He cares about the specific big figures, but now he hired somebody to take all these people and hopefully put them on the same level to an extent. But right now, it's clear to me right now, until the reboot, all these characters will not be treated equally when it comes to marketing. So Blue Beetle,
I'm a little worried.
Good, but if the movie is not marketed as hard as, let's say, the Batman, nobody's not going to care. I'm going to care.
Well, the first good sign for Blue Beetle is that supposedly they're going to put the first trailer out either this week or next week in front of Super Mario Brothers. So they're going to make sure that because a lot of people are going to go see Super Mario Brothers, especially families. So maybe that'll kind of motivate people to be like, hey, look, it's Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle and
wait, so they're going to release it in
and Spider-Verse
or
well, yeah, it'll be online too, but it's going to play in front of Super Mario Brothers.
Got it.
Yeah, like I do think Blue Beetle will be marketed better than Shazam because Blue Beetle is gonna be transferred over the DCU. James Gunn said it's gonna that's gonna be technically the first movie is Superman Legacy, but technically, if you're saying technically, the first DCU movie is technically
again. I still think the smartest thing to do would have been to delay this movie to next year and to make it part of the DCU officially by like disconnecting it. Like, don't have it come out this year. Just I would have changed. I would have changed the release dates too. Like, I would have had Aquaman come out first and then have Flash be the final movie, not Aquaman be the last movie.
And that's why I said this. I think in two streams ago because I do agree with that. This is why I'm kind of still confused about the reboot because, mind you, Aquaman 2 was made with every intention of being connected to what Walter Hamada wanted to do, right? Yeah. Unless James Gunn they somehow went in there and reshot so much of that movie that it fits.
I don't think they did because all the reshoots they've done were like Walter Hamada ordered reshoots or like test screening result reshoots that they aren't supervising. That's where it gets really messy because to me personally, I don't think Jason Momoa is continuing as Aquaman. I said this the longest time. I guarantee you, by the end of this year, going into next year, we're going to hear about Jason Momoa being cast as Lobo. I guarantee it.
And that's why I don't think Aquaman 2 should come out because then it's James Gunn said, you're not going to see more than one actor is not going to be playing multiple characters.
Basically, it'll tell you we're rebooting Aquaman 2.
Right.
So
yeah, that's why I think it should come out. Because if anything after Flash is the new DCU, except for Joker 2, which is takes place in different. But anything after Flash that releases is technically DCU. So
yeah, and that's what's going to be confusing because I guarantee what they're going to say is, well, Blue Beetle takes place in the new universe, but Aquaman 2 takes place before Flash, which is going to be confusing.
Yeah,
that's why I wish when Gunn did his presentation, he just used better terminology, like clearly say this is DCEU and DCU. You know, like just use better terminology because
I think he maybe could have, but I don't think he can because of the box office, man. They need these movies to perform, even if they are being lame duck movies.
And I think the reason why he doesn't use that terminology is he doesn't want to see who's staying and who's not staying, because I do think, like, I understand people want to know who's staying and not, and I do agree he's probably gonna be lovable, but they're probably not gonna say that right now until the movie until all the movies are out, and they'll probably get announced. Ezra Miller is no longer the Flash. Jason Momoa is Jason Momoa is no longer Aquaman. He's Lobo, etc. Like, I don't think it would be the right move to announce it right when the movies are coming out.
Yeah. Well, I said this the other day because I know we're talking about Ant-Man 2. We are in such weird times right now because I never thought I'd live to see a day where Marvel isn't as much drama as DC used to be. Because here's the thing, right? And listen, you know me, I like being positive, and I've gotten some flack for this because I've been a little more negative lately, but like, things are not good right now across the board because for the comic book movie genre. And what I mean by that is, okay, Ant-Man is a complete financial failure. There's no other way to look at it. It just is. Okay, it's not going to make as much as either of the previous two Ant-Man movies. That's not good. Yeah. That's really bad, especially because this movie was supposed to kick off Phase 5 and introduce Kang. Then we have the firing of Victoria Alonso and all the drama surrounding that about, well, he said about like why she got fired and what's going on with that. Losing Victoria Alonso is a very big deal. Even if you don't like her and her comments about the X-Men or some of her political opinions but trying to increase diversity, that's a whole other conversation. Point being is that she was Kevin Feige's right-hand woman. Okay, they've been working together for over 17 years. Okay, yeah. Now we're finding out that supposedly either she got fired because of a breach of contract, which she says is not true, or she got fired because, as she claims, Disney is trying to silence her over speaking out about the Florida stuff going on right now. Yeah. The Don't Say Gay bill. Okay. And supposedly Kevin Feige wasn't made aware of this, wasn't involved in that choice. And when he did find out, he couldn't do anything and said nothing. So that's bad. Okay. That's really bad. Okay. Then we have the Jonathan Majors thing, which that's a little more iffy. It seems like there might be some exoneration going on. We'll see what's going on with that. That's kind of scary, okay? Marvel is in a very bad place right now. I think Guardians 3 will help, but and Loki Season 2 will help, and maybe Secret Invasion will help. But in terms of the cinematic movies, after Guardians 3, I think it's going to be a crapshoot for the rest of the year because I don't think the Marvel is going to do very well. And that's not me trying to be a jerk about it, but we're noticing that people are being very picky and choosy over what they want to see. And I guarantee you the Marvels are going to look at that and be like, that's a streaming movie.
I think, and to be fair, the only MCU movies as of recent I've seen in theaters was Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Shang-Chi. I didn't see anything. I wish I did. Black Widow I watched at home. Yeah, everything. Those are the only ones I've seen in theaters as of recent. Thor 4, I definitely was gonna go watch that in theaters. Definitely not.
Yeah,
but this is just me across the board with a lot of movies. It's not just the MCU. Same thing with DC too. In just movies in general, I'm very picky with my wallet now because we've gotten to a point where there's so many movies coming out that aren't really good, and it's just like, I don't want to waste any more money.
Right. But here's let's get really interesting, right? Okay, we look at the box office, right? Ant-Man makes $100 million, just collapses in the subsequent weekends. Nobody's going back to rewatch the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me name some movies that have come out this year alone. Megan, Cocaine Bear, Puss in Boots, Creed 3, Scream 6, now John Wick Chapter 4. All of these movies, they open very well, but guess what? People keep going back to see them.
Yep.
So why is it that with all these other genres and all these other movies, people are coming back to the theater repeatedly, or they're checking it out, they haven't seen opening weekend, but when it's the MCU movies, it's like either you see it opening weekend or not at all, and it's taking a nosedive in terms of box office. Like, these are not normal holds. Is it the streaming thing? Maybe, but Cocaine Bear, Megan, and Puss in Boots are already on streaming, and they were still making money.
Right. I think, well, many factors. COVID, obviously, the MCU pumping out too much stuff from 2021 to now. They put out too much stuff because Phase 6 is about to end in what, 2026?
Probably later. I think they're going to delay it to even 2027. We'll see though.
Yeah, it might. But if we look at it, this whole phase is going to be much shorter than Phase 1 to 3, which took 10 years for us to get to. Now, it getting delayed, we might not get some stuff in between, but
yeah,
we literally are about to be done with this Phase 4 to 6 in a shorter time than Phase 1 to 3, which I also think is a misstep. I don't know why it's so short. Not saying it needs to be 15 years, but there's a reason it was 10 years originally. They wanted to build a fan base, wanted to make it something epic, grand. It was all planned out and mapped out. It was doing pre-viz for these movies years prior to when they came out. Like, it was, all this stuff was mapped out and planned. So
I feel like it's being rushed, to be honest.
Yeah, that's why
maybe, but like, here's the thing too, which really scary too, right? Okay, so we have this DC stuff, and again, it's not their fault. Well, you know, they want to reboot, and that's perfectly fine. But this year, with Shazam 2, it might be a signal of things to come for a lame duck year. I hope not. We'll see how Flash does, but Flash is going to be competing against a lot of big movies in June. Okay, Blue Beetle is an unknown character. It might do okay in August. I think that'll be okay for what it is. Yep. Aquaman 2, though, supposedly the test screens have been disastrous, and they spent so much money on reshoots. I don't think it's going to do very well. So now we're in a situation where it's a lame duck year for the MCU. It's a lame duck year for DC. Like, the genre slipping a bit, and I don't know what's going to take to recover, because, again, next year we have Captain America 4. We got, what else? We got Joker 2. You know, that's all the things I could think of. But, like, in terms of DC, especially, James Gunn has to nail Superman Legacy. Because if he doesn't, not only is it bad for DC, this is my opinion, okay, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, I truly believe it'll be bad for the comic book genre, because either Superman Legacy is an amazing movie that does really well, or I think things are going to be really bad. Because reason being is that this is DC's time to do the pendulum swing, and they cannot miss that window. Because I think the MCU is on a downward turn, sadly. I think they can recover, but the next couple of years, they're going to be very lame duck years for the MCU. And if they don't deliver and DC can't deliver by 2025, I think we're seeing the genre start to slip down and lose relevancy.
That's why. Look, I will say this: I am sort of glad. Well, I'm sort of glad that John Wick 4 is doing great, while Shazam 2 and the MCU is kind of failing, because these superhero movies. This is a wake up call for all of them. These superhero movies need a wake up call. They need a wake up call, and this is that wake up call. Like, this is a wake up call, because
why is it a wake up call for what?
With the amount of money they losing. Look at this.
So what do you think it's a wake up call to? The quality.
It's a wake up call for quantity or quality over quantity, and I also think it's a wake up call too of being like the fear of missing out is gone. Like, audiences, if they don't show up opening weekend, they don't feel like they need to go see it. You know, they can just wait for streaming. That was never an issue before.
But the quality.
Yeah, and also that's real quick. I have been seeing that a lot recently, mainly for the DC stuff, but even for the Marvel stuff recently, where people saying, "Well, I'll just wait until streaming." Like nobody wasn't saying that before 2020 when they did the same day release. Nobody was saying that.
I think it's the oversaturation with the Marvel content. They oversaturated a lot of people. Then it's like I don't think a lot of people
How
want
about
to
comic book movies have shitty fans?
what? No, I think it's the oversaturation.
Well, listen, I think fans can be an issue sometimes, but I don't think we can blame the quality or the performance of it only on fans. I think that the people making the movies are somewhat responsible too. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Why? How are the people who made Shazam: Fury of the God responsible for its box office? In which way?
I don't think that actually that is a good point. Because I love Shazam 2. I thought it was a really good movie. I don't understand why critics hated it. I don't understand why people decided not to see it. I think that movie was a victim not of quality and the fault of the filmmakers. I think it was just the fault of the reboot being a shadow looming over it. The reboot. I think it was also a victim of very bad marketing. They didn't want to spend money marketing it, which is a shame.
I think that movie is a victim of circumstance. To be honest, I think it would have pushed the needle a little bit, but I don't think any of that would have helped because it's the DC brand that has just generally been hurt. And I kept saying for a long time, stop going after MCU fans. I kept telling, like, not that they know of my advice or whatever. I'm sure they're completely unaware, but I've been saying this and everyone's been going, no, what are you talking about? MCU fans are just comic book movie fans. No, they're not. They're MCU fans. They're only going to watch MCU movies. They don't give a shit about DC. Stop trying to appeal to them and just appeal to the DC fan base that you had. That's that's a lot of my opinion.
And the audience, here's what I'll say about Shazam 2. I wanted to do in the box office too, but I think what didn't help is the trailers. The trailers weren't
the trailers weren't good.
Yeah, they weren't up to par like Shazam 1. They were not up to par when Shazam 1. When Shazam 1, you got more people interested in stuff like that, but with Shazam 2 trailers, they sucked.
The trailers that were there for Shazam weren't very good.
It's basically DC needs to get a whole new fan base. And I don't know if that's possible because the fan base they have now is so toxic and so bullshit and so against any film that basically comes out and are self-sabotaging and are spoiled and are all super experts on DC, every single one of them.
I think I know what they're going to try and do. For some reason. This is what I think they're trying to do, personally. I think that the DC brand, as you mentioned, is associated with failure, and it's so toxic when people see the DC logo, they just get turned away immediately. My thing is, I think when they reboot Superman Legacy, this is just my personal opinion, why I mentioned it might be a pendulum swing, pendulum shift. I think that the goal is, if they play their cards right, make a really kick-ass Superman movie that will not only appeal to DC fans, like the actual true DC in their blood, in their veins kind of DC fans. I think also, too, their objective personally is, I think they want to capture the jaded MCU fans who are losing faith in Marvel and get them to come over and be on Team DC.
I don't know if that's going to work.
I don't know either. I just think that might be a strategy. I really think that their objective is we need to compete with the MCU and bring over some of the fans who are losing interest over to us. And
I could see that happening because I think James Gunn has talked since he's been in charge. He did talk about the MCU issues and stuff like that. So I do think what?
No, go.
Yeah, issues I could see Superman Legacy on both sides. If it's very good, that would be the upwards towards DC and the decline towards Marvel. Like it's usually the reverse, where the MCU is doing very good, successfully, and everything like that, and like DC's not doing as well and keeping up with the MCU. But if Superman Legacy hits South Park and everyone loves it, and like they get like the audience, everyone, I could see the downhill with the MCU, to be honest.
I don't get that point that you if Superman Legacy is really great.
I'm just talking about the superhero genre in general. Like the superhero genre, I know a lot of people are fatigued. It's not just about like Marvel versus
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Superman Legacy, I mentioned earlier before he came on Nerdman, that movie has to knock it out of the park, because I feel like if it doesn't, not only is it bad for DC, I think it's bad for the genre as a whole, because you have to win people over who are fatigued. And you have to be like, okay, if you're fatigued with the Marvel style and you're fatigued with this and that, maybe this new Superman can.
Yeah, it's like the superhero genre in general.
No, but that's where I'm getting at. It's like DC has to distinguish itself so that I genuinely think some people watch a Shazam trailer, for instance, and they think it's MCU. Like just some of those jaded people that you're talking about, that like aren't into comic book movies. They just think they're silly and whatever. Some of those jaded people just will see a Shazam or a Black Adam trailer and honestly not be able to distinguish between the MCU and that. So my thing is that I think DC needs to go after a fan base. Whoever went to see the Joker, right? That fan base, whoever went to see that, because it was a billion plus. I know I went with a lot of friends who aren't into comic book movies, really enjoyed it. They need to distinguish themselves to show that comic book movies can be something else than just this formulaic, oh, there's the good guy and the bad guy, and then the good guy bonks the bad guy over the head with a mallet, and then the bad
Well,
guy.
James Gunn mentioned that in an interview, that he said like that we need to like move beyond the conventional storytelling things. He actually used the phrase like we need to move beyond just like good guy versus bad guy stories and etc. So we'll see. I think too, though, like in terms of capturing the Joker audience, I think that's why they're still making Joker 2 and the Batman trilogy and all that stuff, because they want to appeal to that audience. But it's like, how do you translate that over to your main cinematic universe as well? That's kind of the big question.
I think they have to translate that over to their main cinematic universe, or even just drop the idea of doing a cinematic universe and like just do like tangentially connected things that lead to more epic, big scale cinema. Like I've thought, for instance, hey man, use that. I know it'll take like quite a long time, but use that technology or a little bit of that technology that they used for Avatar to make a space fucking opera Green Lantern movie, something like that, something that kind of it shows that you're trying to add some kind of cinematic quality to these stories.
Well, if they play their cards right with that Lantern show, if they play their cards right with that Lantern show, it being like based like a detective story, like True Detective, but in space, that could be really good and very dark and mature if they do it correctly.
Yeah, so, I think at the end of the day, it's about quality over quantity, and I think like this is like you can't just keep pumping out stuff that like people are going to watch if it's not like good, like. And I do think, like, I agree with K-Dots. This is a lesson to, like, both studios, not just about quality and quantity. You have to market your movie and everything like that. And it's like, all right, I think this is a big lesson for both studios. Both for Marvel, start putting quality. And for the new head, you have to start freaking marketing your shit. You have to get people in, buy the tickets in the doors and see the movie.
And with real quick, and one of my other issues with how real quick Ant-Man started out, that was not a great way to introduce your next big bad villain. Like in phase 1 and 3, they did it better with introducing Thanos, right? But introducing Kang the Conqueror, the main Kang we're going to be dealing with for the most part, instead of him get beat up by ants and stuff, it's like, dang, kind of at the point where the power scaling is getting so bad. I recently saw Vincent D'Onofrio, who played Kingpin in the Netflix show, in the interview say, "Yeah, next time I see Spider-Man, I'm gonna kick his ass." Dude, you got beat up by Kate Bishop. What are you talking about? You're gonna beat up Spider-Man's dude? You got beat up by Kate Bishop.
For real.
That's why Netflix, MC need to fix their power scaling issue too. They have a bad power scaling issue. It's worse.
I think MCU will have those. Everyone who went to see Ant-Man or went to see it multiple times are those die-hard MCU fans who'll never let an MCU movie truly bomb, like truly fail. You know, Ashley obviously.
I mean, this one for sure failed. I mean,
this 7 times, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
There's no way you can cut around this. This is a financial disaster for Marvel.
This is for sure.
The fact that this will not match the first Ant-Man or even Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That's not a bomb though. That's a bomb.
That's a bomb.
466 broke even.
Not when you account for like what's the budget? Do you know the budget, K-Dot?
I don't think the budget. Let me look it up. I don't think the budget's been revealed yet.
Because remember, you have to like double your budget, and you have to get like an extra $100 million for marketing and all that, plus the residuals for the actors. So if they're going to make a profit, they're not making a profit on this movie.
Okay,
It's
so supposedly the budget is $200 million. The budget is $200 million.
Yeah, so they would need to double that, $400 million plus an extra $100 million for marketing, and they're not at like they need to make $500 million, and they're not going to make $500 million.
What do you mean they need to double it?
Because for marketing, so for budget to turn a profit, you have
marketing counts.
Yeah, so like they would need to at least make $500 million to make a profit. They're not going to make a profit.
I'm saying break even. I think they've broken even with that. With that figure there, I think that you can. Look at probably broken even at least. I don't think that's a bomb from a 200. Now, if you're talking about once you take off what the cinema, what cinemas the cinemas take. Right, like so, the cinema take a percentage of that as well.
Yes,
then you might be onto something.
Yeah,
then you might be onto something that they need to clear 500 million.
That's what I was going to mention. Like that total box office, they don't even get most of that because it has to go to the residuals in the foreign countries, the residuals for the actors, and for the theaters. So they're not making much money on this movie. If they broke even, but they're not like just barely.
Yeah,
well, real quick, factor in this, right? This is the opener to a phase. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Civil War did open phase 3, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at Civil War's box office. Over $1 billion. Now let's look at Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 opened up phase 2, correct?
Yes.
Let's look at Iron Man 3.
Oh god.
Iron Man 3 opened up phase 2 with over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Now Iron Man 1 made it opened up phase 1, didn't make over $1 billion, but for a first film like that, just to start, really good.
Well, I was going to mention too with Iron Man 3, I think a lot of good
trend.
Yeah. I think with Iron Man 3, it's a bit different because that one was coming off the hype of the Avengers. It didn't really set up anything, you know. Civil War is Civil War. Okay, that name alone will bring people in.
Right.
But Ant-Man still should have done better because they marketed it as if like, hey, this is the next big thing. You got to see this movie.
But I think, and I don't solely blame Ant-Man because it was one of the MCU franchises that people didn't really care about. They paired up Kang with the wrong character that had more potential to put more butts in the seat. Scott Lang is not that. He doesn't put butts in the seat like that.
And you wouldn't want to defeat your villain like that, to be honest. And
if this was Doctor Strange leading, or hell, even Thor, if they were still alive, Steve Rogers or Tony Stark, maybe even Bruce Banner Hulk. We know they can't use them in a movie like that, but those characters would have definitely put butts in the seat.
Yeah.
Dare I say even Hawkeye? Dare I say Hawkeye? Dare I say it? He might put more butts in seat than Scott Lang Ant-Man.
Hawkeye will put more butts in seats than Superman.
I do think they should have went with the.
This is how the comic book fans and the MCU fans are. They'll put more butts in seats than Superman and Shazam. Hawkeye.
These MCU fans,
even if it's a better movie than the Hawkeye movie, because they are. I don't even want to. I'm not going to go into it. The MCU fans have shown their cards. I said it a long time ago. Man. They coordinated on Captain Marvel to make sure their Captain Marvel made more money than the real.
Remember, it was that dude that saw Captain Marvel like 150 times.
Yeah, and he met Brie Larson at a convention or something. It's like, hey, this person saw Captain Marvel 160 times.
Look, hey, shouts to the guy for watching the over 160 times, but damn, I couldn't.
People like Onzo as well.
Do you think if the Ant-Man 3 movie would have done better if they went for the original plan that had involved MODOK and everything?
I think they even had a misstep with MODOK, because my issue with MODOK is the same issue I have with Doomsday and BVS. Stop mixing two comic book characters into one character. Yeah. They're separate for a reason. You have all this. There's no reason to put them in one. Stop doing that. They're separate characters for a reason. I don't want to see Zod become Doomsday, and I don't want to see Darren Cross, who's not MODOK in the comics, become MODOK. They're two separate characters.
Well, the issue is too. I have no issue with that, but like, because it's like whatever you want to change things up. But my issue is like. MODOK, you could have done some really cool things like AIM. Like, where's AIM in
the
that's like, they really do stuff with AIM.
They failed the MODOK setup, and now they're going to have to use the multiverse to bring in a MODOK when it's like, you already introduced MODOK. You're going to kill MODOK and then bring him back in the multiverse to set up AIM. You know, they kind of waste him. Not saying MODOK is a big end-all be-all villain, but they wasted MODOK.
Aren't we being a little overcritical at this point? Though, like really
overcritical.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was a fun movie. It was absolutely fine. It was sort of like there was no. It's not my fault. You guys have been going out and watching every single MCU movie and got fucking jaded and burnt. I don't watch them. So these movies seem like quite interesting to me. I was like, oh, Ant-Man, it's better than the last one.
Yeah, but if you're following the franchise, it's like, Huh? Well, I'm saying it's like you follow the franchise and you watch everything when it comes out, like most of us do. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's not bad. I thought it was Ant-Man isn't okay.
I don't watch any of those movies. I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp just by I fell asleep during Wakanda Forever.
You fell asleep.
Wakanda Forever.
You fell asleep.
But that's the thing, right? It's just like, for me, Ant-Man, it wasn't a bad movie, but it's like, it's okay. It's kind of like mid-tier. It's a mid-tier Marvel. It's mid,
Yeah. William, I was the day we thought. Well, no, the day, and that was a big day when Sony decided to pull the rights back from the MCU.
Oh, I was pissed. I remember. I was pissed.
I was on the other side. I was like, yes, take that shit back from them. Take it from them.
But Kata, they ended on a cliffhanger, man. That's messed up. We wanted to see the story conclude at least,
Yeah,
thankfully it all worked out. Thankfully,
it got a happy ending. They got their little 50-50 deal now, or whatever it is. Feige was insane for he was trying to argue like they wanted to get a bigger percentage than Sony, and I was like, you guys are crazy.
To be fair, Marvel really made those movies, not Sony. I mean, Sony just put up the money.
But Sony's leasing it out though. They are.
All Sony did was put up the money though, man. That's all they did. They just put up the money and did the marketing. That's it.
I feel like
and those movies are shit. I don't know what their embarrassments to Spider-Man as a trilogy. Like literally, none of them are good. Like I'll go as far as
No Way Home is the best. No Way Home is the best of the three. No Way Home is the best of the three. The other two,
No Way Home are
both not. Take those corny what's it called? Little basically the old Spider-Man coming back, and that movie's trash. The movie itself is way worse than Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Way worse.
What are you
in terms
talking
of, like,
about?
Whoa,
What
whoa,
are
whoa,
you
whoa.
talking
are you
Like,
kidding
like,
me?
like,
In
no,
terms
no,
of the
even
story,
even
the
if no,
structure
here,
of the story,
even if you
all of
take
that
out
kind of
even
stuff.
if you take out the other Spider-Man, it's a great story about Peter Parker dealing with the consequences of his actions. Okay, it deals with him growing
What?
up. It deals with him having to lose his aunt. Like, there's like some
Consequences of
really
his
good
actions.
story
He's
and
a
character.
moron. He goes into a wizard to change all of reality.
Because
Just so
of
that
his
he can
friends.
get in, so his girlfriend can get into like some university.
No, because no,
You
no, no,
don't
no.
need to go, oh, let me even. They have to even point it out in the movie. Doctor Strange is like, wait, you didn't even go to the dean and ask her, like, will she consider changing her mind before you even did
But
that?
that wasn't the
It's
point, though. Like, he
such an
felt guilty. He
idiotic
felt
premise
guilty
that they
that
had
his
to-
identity being revealed ruined their lives because they were forever going to be marred and like being attacked or being associated with it. It was more than just the university. It was the fact that I ruined their lives. I have to make this right. That was the whole point of that character, like him dealing with the consequences of those actions.
I'm not going to trash it
and
anymore, but
also-
I'm just going to say Spider-Man 3 is better than all three of those movies as a film. Artistically speaking, it is better than every single one of them.
I agree. I agree.
We know you.
The silence is deafening.
Well, you know, listen. I think Spider-Man 3, for the most part, is a good movie. I mean, there's some stuff that's not. It's the weakest of the Raimi trilogy, but I still think it's a solid movie. There's some really good stuff in it, but you know,
I think it was okay.
Look,
I just didn't like Venom.
Not too bash on No Way Home. It's the only movie I like of the trilogy, thanks to Toby and Andrew. But that's besides the point. My issue, just like Nerman with No Way Home, is the intelligence of Peter Parker, which has always been lacking in these MCU films. Doctor Strange tells this man one simple thing: everyone is going to forget about you. He's like, okay, cool. Then he asks, will my aunt forget? Yes, he said everyone. Will my girlfriend forget? Yes, he said everyone. Will Ned forget? Yes, he said everyone. You're a genius. Everyone means everyone. I'm just like, this is my issue.
Well, he was nervous in the moment, man. He's a kid still. Like, the whole point of that movie was him like being a goof up. So by the end, he's maturing and grown up. Like, did you guys not get excited at the end of the movie where he's all by himself, all alone? He has to be Spider-Man by himself. You know, he makes his own costumes.
That's the only bit of the movie that was good.
That's kind of my issue in this. That's kind of been my issue with this Peter Parker in general. In the Russo brothers films, he in all the Russo brothers movies, he seemed like he was Spider-Man on point. He was confident, he knew what to do, and he went in there and did what he had to do. Now in the John Watts movies, every single movie I noticed follows the same thing. Peter Parker trying to become Spider-Man in each of these films. It felt like he was just trying to become Spider-Man. It didn't feel like he was Spider-Man and trying to maintain it. It was Peter Parker in Far From Home, how to become Spider-Man and what it means to be Spider-Man. Homecoming, how to be Spider-Man, what it means to become Spider-Man. And the same thing with No Way Home in a sense. Finally, he's Spider-Man. He's all alone and he's supposed to be Spider-Man, but it's like you kind of did the same thing over and over too many times. And it was like what Zack Snyder was trying to do with Superman, which I was not a huge fan of, making us wait 5 movies for Superman to drastically do this character change and act like Superman. When you're trying to deconstruct when you got to construct before you deconstruct. So that's I was not a huge fan of waiting 6 movies, but I think in general, real quick, the Russo brothers should have directed Spider-Man. They're what they did with Spider-Man was way better than what John Watts did with Spider-Man. I'll say that much.
John Watts. What else has he done as a director? I'm just curious.
He made cinema.
He made cinema.
Wait, what was the question?
Can I just ask? All right, like on a serious note, I don't think Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever. There's always something in each one of those 3 movies I've enjoyed. But you can't seriously sit here and tell me that Shazam: Fury of the Gods isn't better than each one of those MCU Spider-Man movies. what do you think of how the?
I think it's way better than Homecoming and
Can I-
Far From Home.
can
No
I-
Way Home
can I
is
just-
kind of like they're both of quality.
Okay,
They're both
so
of quality.
let me ask Arkham Gaming, what do you think of the influencers score on Rotten Tomatoes for Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
Oh, I hate it. It makes
Yeah.
no sense. It makes no sense because like the audience score likes Shazam 2, but like to me I don't understand the score with Rotten Tomatoes with Shazam 2. Just makes no sense.
But that's the same. The influencers also gave Ant-Man and the Wasp, which also got like an 86%. So these influencers, because they're not critics, by the way. So the influencers on Rotten Tomatoes need to start thinking from the perspective of, and I've hated this with people who review horror movies as well. When you watch a horror movie or any type of movie and you're trying to be an actual critic, you should take into consideration, will people who like this genre of movie actually like this film? I think that's really, really important to do, because you might not like that genre of film, but you would be lying to people or misleading them if you then go, oh, but you won't, like people who actually enjoy this type of movie won't enjoy it as well. So these influencers, as I've said, they're not film critics. They just make up all these kind of generalities and stuff like this, like, oh, it's generic. What does that mean? They don't talk about the particularities.
And they don't go into specifics. Like they just say, oh, this is a generic comic book movie. And they just rate it 2 out of 10 stars or whatever. And it's like they don't go in specific why it's generic. It's like how much.
Well, even the so-called influencers, though, like they're starting to be like trashing on these movies too. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania got eviscerated on Rotten Tomatoes. Like if you look at the critic score, it's
Yeah,
like in the 40s.
I didn't like Ant-Man 3, but I think they went too far. Even on the, I was like, it's an Ant-Man movie. It
shouldn't be the worst rated MCU movie, or like
right.
the
No,
second worst.
It's better than
definitely
Ant-Man
by a
2.
long
Better
shot.
than Ant-Man 2, but it's for an MCU film. It's a solid Ant-Man film for Ant-Man. In general, that's different, but it's a solid Ant-Man film.
Can we admit that they're capping now? Because let's look at something like Captain Marvel. I know it's an obvious example, right?
Yeah.
How does Captain Marvel not get, oh, it's a generic comic book movie, nothing happens in it, there's a hero, the villain is complete, all of the criticisms that were given against Shazam 2, how did something like Captain Marvel? So they knew those movies were bad, because if they're going to say that Ant-Man,
Jeremy, I have to remember they did change
they must have known those movies were bad and they were capping.
Well, you do have to remember that, because Captain Marvel marked a historical change for Rotten Tomatoes. Remember, that's when they changed the critic scores, how it gets reviewed. Remember that? They literally changed the how the fans, the audience reviews it, because it was getting review bombed. But I don't know why they was letting people review a movie early before they seen it, but whatever. They changed that, which they went in there to literally tweak reviews, right? Tweak reviews and manufacture stuff. And it's like, no, you gotta let people put out the reviews. Yes, with some people going to.
I don't agree with review bombing, though.
I don't agree with review bombing either. But yeah, I don't agree with review bombing. But how Ron Smith had said it before, you could review the movie before it came out, which was dumb.
Do you think?
So it was people reviewing movies ahead of time, good or bad, and they haven't seen the movie yet. So there's been movies for years that have been getting reviews that don't even really add up.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Do you think the next superhero movie that comes out this year, is going to get bad score on Rotten Tomatoes also, because of the track record?
So. I think it would have to be absolutely incredible not to. Like it has to be the best, like some of the best. Like I think the Flash might do well because of the rave reviews it's getting. But
Well, here's the thing, though. Listen, even if it's a good movie, and this is what's kind of scary lately, it doesn't matter if you're a good movie anymore. You can still freaking collapse. Shazam 2 was a good movie, and that did not do well. Okay? Here, and the thing with Flash is, do people really care if it gets good reviews? Do people care if Tom Cruise says it's an amazing movie?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know. And here's the thing too, like June is such a busy month.
Tom Cruise said it was good. I care.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, in June is such a busy month for movies. Like, it has so much competition. I just don't know.
But even
the
this
only way Flash survives, the only way Flash eats, is if Michael Keaton Batman fans show up for it, because DC fans are supposed DC fans aren't showing up for it. We're the last of the last of the Mohicans, my friends. Because
I do think
I don't think there are any DC fans. There's Snyder fans. They ain't going. Then there's these MCU fans who've been bashing DC, going, "Oh, do get lighter and be more humorous, and then maybe we'll come and watch your movies." And then they did that, and then they didn't turn up. So those guys aren't coming. I don't know who's coming apart from Michael Keaton fans. Which
here's the thing, though. I do think Michael Keaton fans will show up, but here's the other thing that we need to discuss too. Okay, so for a movie to be really successful, make a lot of money, it's got to make money domestically and internationally. Does the international market, like outside the United States and Canada and all that stuff, and like the UK, okay, the places where Michael Keaton was super popular. Does anybody in the vast world outside of those Western markets truly care or feel nostalgic for Michael Keaton the same way we do?
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Keaton was the big deal. I mean, over a
worldwide, though.
I did see a lot of
Michael Keaton was a big deal when the Batman dropped. Well, if those people are still alive, they liked Michael Keaton.
If they're still alive.
They're still alive.
I mean, most of them aren't dead, though. I mean, Nerdman's one of them. Anzo is one of them. They're still alive. They still here
when he was out.
But I will say this about the Flash, like, I do think like with the thing with Tom Cruise, like, I don't care if Tom Cruise says
I don't think it should be the last topic, guys.
I don't think. I do think Tom Cruise saying the Flash is good. Maybe it'll get other people interested. Like, maybe Tom Cruise fans will see the Flash. Maybe.
No,
that'll be interesting. Like, because I never really saw it.
Maybe if he's in it, I just
thought it was very interesting that Tom Cruise saw the movie. So, like, I think like if he says it's a good movie, it's probably a good movie.
I mean, look,
it's Tom Cruise.
I like Tom Cruise. Not saying I like, I think I liked him the most when he was in what's that movie? It's based off the book with the kids.
Impossible?
No, it's Nerdman knows the movie I'm talking about. It's literally a book. Freaking greasers and the socials. Nerdman. It's a movie about a bunch of kids. They're in a gang. The gang is called the Greasers.
The what?
Tom Cruise is in it.
Tom Cruise is in the movie.
Main character of the movie, his name was Pony Boy. It's based off a book. The Outsiders. I think that's the name of The Outsiders.
Oh, that's what I was trying to think because I didn't know the name of it, but I knew the director.
I like Tom Cruise in that movie. I liked him in that movie. Freaking crazy kid. He was running and stuff and doing all them flips and whatnot. Tom Cruise is crazy. See, that's what happened, man. That's what happened to Tom Cruise. That acting messed up his head. He doing all he's young and stuff, coming up. Then he getting into Scientology and stuff. Now he's jumping out of planes and everything. That man got a death wish.
Mm-hmm. If I was
shouts out to him in his death.
If I wasn't afraid of heights, I would be jumping out of planes too.
I would too.
No,
if I'm getting paid to do it, I do it. But I'm afraid of heights.
I agree with RJ. I think the Flash is in trouble. I think people are here like, I've seen people like smiling, laughing. Oh, Shazam like flopped. Some doing that for Ant-Man as well. And I'm like, I don't. Do you guys like comic book movies? Because this is bad. It's not
I
a
like
good
that.
thing that these movies failed. It's not. Don't think.
Oh,
that
no,
it's
that's
to
what we
do
were
with
saying.
the
This is not a
Shazam
good thing.
IP.
Yeah.
It's not to do with the Shazam IP. This is
Yeah.
to do with how people perceive comic book movies, and I've been
Yeah,
saying
comic
this for the damnedest
book
time.
movies in general.
Well,
I've
it's
been saying
okay.
it for a long time, and MCU fans were so arrogant with me, specifically Philosophical Pickle and some other Onzo. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They were so arrogant with me because they were making billions of dollars, and I'm saying I'm talking to people, normal people that I speak to on an everyday basis, and they think your shit is bullshit. They think it's trash. That it's only MCU fans going to these movies, and if they become unhappy with those movies, then it's all done for you. I've been trying to say this. You've got to. I don't know. I don't think the MCU can even do anything, because if they try and be different, they get rejected. If they try and be the same, they get rejected. I think the biggest thing they did as well, which is bad for them, is they went from a relatively speaking right-wing politics in the beginning of their movies, which the people who were in support of those movies say those movies didn't have any politics in them. Iron Man and all of that, that's why they were so great. They had no politics. No, they had pretty right-leaning politics. That's basically what it was. It was pretty right-leaning, capitalist embracing kind of politics. And they went from that to embracing more of this social new left identity.
I didn't know.
And
I did notice that. Yeah,
by doing that, they pissed off their fan base, because their fan base were one of the reasons they loved those movies. They might not want to admit it, was because they were kind of, in a sense, it was strong white males, rich, who were the good guys, who, they were going to privatize, what was it? Privatizing the defense of America, all of that kind of stuff, and going to war against terrorists. That kind of stuff appealed to a certain group of people, and they didn't like when those politics were changed. I honestly think that. I think that's one of the backlashes you're seeing.
Yeah, that is probably one of the most obvious things about the MCU that I did notice, the change in who they're appealing to. And it's not that it's not neutral anymore. I'll say this. I believe it was a lot more neutral before the recent years and stuff, like Phase 3. But it really showed, because now, and this has just happened in general, 2016, when all these other YouTubers coming out, the anti-woke community and stuff, as they call themselves, started popping out the cuts and, saying what you're saying. What happened to all the strong white males in the MCL? Where they at? It's like some of them are still here. You're just not looking hard enough, but some of them are still here. But that clear switch up in politics was not too much of a good thing. I mean, it's not to say that they can't appeal to both. You got to appeal to both. Not to say you need to pick a side, but appealing to both in a way helps. Like, there's many movies that appeal to, like Rocky, right? Rocky, if whether you're left or right, the movie Rocky first film, anybody can enjoy that. Doesn't matter if you're left or right. That's a good wholesome coming of age movie for a character like Rocky. But
yeah, no, I know. I mean, I'm not like, look, I don't think. I think they should have just continued trying to appeal to who they'd appeal to. I think they appeal to many different groups that do spend a lot of money in cinemas. They also appeal to families as well. It wasn't just these kind of people, as I was talking about, but like they appeal to these different groups. But I think they really alienated that specific group. I think the families are still coming. The comic book fans who are just Marvel heads who loved Marvel comics. They're still coming. But that specific group has now revolted against the MCU, and they remember all the golden years of, when it was just a specific thing. And they were a big group, unfortunately, and they're a very loud group as well.
Yes. Real quick before we move on to the next topic, and let me get this actually Marvel's comment. Well, RJ and Second Street. RJ said, Variety dropped new article confirming Ant-Man needed $600 million to break even. Yeah, I figured. It honestly needed to make more than the second movie, regardless of anything. At the end of Rocky, my kids were like, who won? Definitely not the Italian stallion. Apollo gets that W. Nerman, who won at the end of Rocky?
It was a draw, wasn't it?
I mean, that's what they all say. I think the black man won, and they tried to steal it from the black man. But that's up for debate. All right, guys.
That was a good ending, though. I mean, I don't really like the Rocky movies all that much, but that was a pretty good ending to a sports movie.
I thought it was a good ending. Both fighters ended up respecting one another and stuff. They found their respect for one another.
But then they fought again in Rocky 2, and then he beats him.
Yeah, they fought again in 2. Rocky did beat him, but Rocky was retiring. Rocky retired in 2, and he wasn't trying to fight until Apollo brought him out to fight. He kept on instigating with him. Apollo was looking for a fight because he couldn't accept a draw.
Mm.
He needed there to be a definitive winner. K-Dot is racially biased sometimes. All right, you guys. So
I have not seen any of these Creed movies, and I don't know what makes me not want to see them. I did watch the beginning of this movie that's really big at the moment. What's it called?
Creed 3.
John Wick. Do I have to watch the first one to really get that stuff?
I recommend it. Honestly, Nerman, if you like good action movies, watch this. This is one of the few good, it doesn't feel like an old school action movie. It feels like just a really good action movie in general that we've been needing for years. Like, this is pure action film. Honestly, while I like Shazam, I think it's better in terms of just movie in general, fun, the theater experience, sound, cinematography. The cinematography.
Dude, you didn't get the Shazam's theater experience. If that theater was filled with people, that's part of enjoying a movie in the cinema.
Theater experience helps a lot.
It's filled with people, and people were cheering at those moments, and you could sense when people are moved around you. Like the theater experiences I had with Shazam on the first day, when there was people there, and it was a lot better, and you heard some clapping for Wonder Woman coming out. And I think the same thing, with what you're talking about with this, with going to watch. I keep forgetting the fucking name of this guy. This movie that you just said, this action movie, the Keanu Reeves one. What's it called again? John Wick. John Wick. I think when you're saying you went to the cinema and it was you liked it better, I think you have to take that into consideration.
Well, it was just it was more factors to it. Watch this in IMAX. Nerdman, the sound design in this movie is insane. It is insane.
Oh, really?
You can't watch this shit on normal. There's an open. How far in the movie did you see?
Oh, only till he shot the black dude in the beginning. He shoots a black dude in the head for some reason. I didn't, and I was like, all right, that's enough for me.
Well, okay. In the beginning, remember the part when he was punching that little post with the thing?
Yeah.
And the character and Lawrence Fishburne is walking in narrating. Watch that in IMAX. The sound design, it feels like there's an earthquake in the theater. That is how good the sound is. But it's not a bad sound. It's a good sound. It feels like good vibrations to your body. It just sucks you in. man. But I honestly recommend watching John Wick from the top. I compared this franchise to Lethal Weapon. All
I don't like
movies,
Lethal Weapon.
4 movies back to back are good.
Oh, really? I don't like
Right.
Lethal Weapon.
That's how good the movies are. All 4 movies back to back are good. It gets better each time. It does not downgrade. It gets better every time. It always ups the ante. It
I
doesn't.
was more of a Schwarzenegger guy. All the Schwarzenegger movies, like as a franchise, I never really got into Lethal Weapon, so that's not the best. But I mean, maybe it's different. I'm sure I know what you mean. You just mean it's 4 back-to-back good action movies. So the other thing I noticed was that Keanu Reeves isn't really a good actor. From the first 5 minutes, I was just like, yeah, Keanu Reeves still can't act.
He was. Well, I'll say this as a person who did like the movie. He's very dry. Like Keanu's a dry act. He's dry. For me, it works at times, but there were some parts in the movie where I was like, ooh, he kind of sounds slow. You know what I'm saying? Like he sounds a little slow at times. There are certain things he was saying. I was like, kind of sound kind of slow. So I was saying, yeah. There were some good one-liners in the movie, but it was just like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, okay, bro.
Yeah, he was acting exactly the same as he did in the latest Matrix movie, and I was just like,
in the first movie, the first 2-3 movies, in my opinion, his acting is really like there's more for him to say. He says more. In this movie, they kept him very much stuck to kind of the one-liners and stuff, and he doesn't speak a lot in the movie. Actually, he does not speak a lot. He just gets straight to the killing because he's on the mission of freedom.
mm-hmm.
But let's get to this new.
Let's do that. I can do 3 minutes of this because my bus is coming. But yeah,
let's get to it real quick. So, Nerdman, as you know, so the woman who basically Jonathan Majors assaulted her. Jonathan Majors arrested for allegedly assaulting a woman who reportedly is his girlfriend. So she ended up recanting the physical assault. So
okay. So it's done.
It may not, but the city can also pursue this if they wanted to. There's some cases where the city they might continue and pursue the case, which happens quite often.
I mean, I hope that's the case. I mean, I'm glad then if that's what the lawyer is saying. I hope also that this woman isn't like been just paid off or backed down because
I hope that's
not
like
because he's a powerful guy and he's a light guy. I hope that hasn't happened. But if it's true that she's just recanted and like said it didn't happen, but she still had bruises, right? And she still had.
We don't know yet. They haven't revealed these bruises and stuff. Like I said, it was stated she had bruises, but we don't know if there's like I said, they might show pictures of it, but at this moment, don't know if there's bruises and stuff yet. Like I said, I hope there's no bruises. I hope Jonathan Majors didn't just attack this girl straight up. Hopefully, it's just a case of she hit him and he defended himself, but he didn't like.
No, but what I read is that there were actual bruises, but the lawyer countered that and said there's footage of a witness.
Yeah, in the taxi. There's the taxi driver and there's footage from the taxi. So they have both of those. They have the taxi driver and footage from the taxi, which is that footage from the taxi is going to determine what basically happened. It's going to show us everything that happened once we see that footage from the taxi.
And if she is lying, she should get done for it. If she was accusing somebody of doing this just for I'm so fed up of women just being able to do that.
And just anyone who makes false allegations in general, they need consequences. Anyone who makes false allegations, they need to start being punished They need to start being punished. Anybody who falsely says, this person physically harmed me. This person did this to my car. This person did this. This person did that. These people that falsely throw accusations out there need to be punished, severely punished. Probably given the same amount of time the person they accuse would have got, because we need to stop that stuff. People just throw out any allegations. People throw around words like with the James Gunn thing. People just throwing out words pedo and stuff. It's like there's no proof that he actually is.
Yeah, there's nothing
throwing
that he
around those
actually did
words.
that.
Pedo. It's these words start to lose meaning when people just throw this shit around.
Yeah. All right, I have to go. But thanks for having me on. I apologize. I really do. Yeah.
I'm gonna get ready to close up anyways. So thanks for coming on, though, nerd man.
Well, thank you, man. All right, peace.
Peace. He still have to go to court, right? The last update was that he goes to court in January, March, April, May. So he's supposed to go. He's due back to court in May. Yeah, he's due back to court in May. So maybe they might continue this. And just like Second Street Marvel said, the state could pick this up and take it to court if they want to. They might drop it. Who knows? We don't know yet. People have already started saying she was paid off, so his reputation is going to take a hit regardless. Yeah, look, I don't know if she was paid off or not. I just want to see the footage, you guys. I just care about the footage. That's all I care about. I want to see the footage. I don't know who's innocent. Don't know who's guilty. Look, if she was paid off and she moves on, then I'm moving on. That's all I'm saying. If she does care to pursue this and, get him locked up for these crimes he committed, then I'm with you. But if she did get paid off and decides to leave it alone, then I'm leaving it the fuck alone. I'm moving on. Remember the same thing happened to Jeremy Renner in 2019. That issue with his wife and stuff. The issue with his wife and stuff, right? Yeah, I remember that. Someone can be abused verbally with very threatening words over time and feel like they can be heard. Doesn't mean she should make a false allegation of physical assault, but there may be more here. Yeah, that's why. Let's do a scenario real quick. So the situation was the girl saw Jonathan Majors talking to a girl on his phone and she didn't like that. Let's say Jonathan's in the taxi on the phone. He gets a message. The girl sees it. Go like, who's that bitch? Who the fuck you talking to? And he's like, whoa, stay on my shit. And then, let's say he pushed her first or she hit him first. They did come from a bar. They was probably drunk. Who knows? But who hit who first, right? Because that determines a lot. Who hit who first matters. Because if she hit first and Jonathan hit back, then you can count it as self-defense. But if Jonathan just out of nowhere, unprovoked, just smacked her, and let's say she didn't hit him or anything. Yes, she invaded his privacy and tried to get into his phone, but that's not a good look for him. Yeah, she tried to get in your phone and be all up in your business, but you can't be smacking the shit out of girls just for looking at your phones. I was saying, you can't be doing that shit. I don't know what the scenario is of how it happened, but the girl looked in his phone and a physical altercation began. Who started it, though? Who started this physical altercation? But yeah, more to come. We'll wait and see. I'm waiting on that taxi footage, and we will all know where to go from here. All I'm saying is not he is guilty in this instance, but it seems to be a building case that he has some anger issues. Might be a possibility. I say it could be a possibility. Could be. I seen somebody, Sean O'Rourke alluded to Jonathan Majors possibly juicing up and stuff. I don't think he is. He might be juicing up on the roids, but This guy is getting bulked up for these movies and stuff. He's getting really big for these movies. Jonathan Majors hasn't like been this big in a while. Like this dude been juicing up. Not saying he's taking roids and stuff, but maybe taking them stuff might be juicing up. And then when he does his interviews and stuff, because if you notice in his interviews, he's very soft spoken, very kind, but very much soft spoken. He seems very respectful, but that could all be a front, could be an act. And in private, he's probably some crazy, it's probably crazy as fuck, angry as shit, slapping women, shit, could be. He's juiced, no doubt about it. But I hope, this is what I hope, right? This is what I hope in general. I hope from Jonathan's perspective, it is just a case of self-defense on his part. That's what I hope it is. But if he straight up just like smacked her out of nowhere, dude, you're done. You're done. And you know what? If it does end up being that and he straight up just like attacked her, then, you're going to have to fire him as Kang. Personally, I like to wait until all the evidence is out and wait until, see what the court does. But, they're going to have to let him go as Kang. I'm sorry. Because like I said, I was saying the same shit with Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, while I will accept watching him in his Flash movie, he still needs to go after this Flash movie. I don't give a fuck, because I think that the damage Ezra Miller done to the brand of Flash was like, it's unacceptable. I can't even accept it. I can't really forgive him for it, because it's like you was doing all this bullshit with no explanation, and you're honestly disrespecting Flash fans, you're disrespecting DC fans, you're disrespecting your own fan base by not keeping us up to date on what the hell is going on with you, so we can know how to like move with you. You're keeping us out the loop. You're doing all this bullshit, and you just expect us to like have your back when you don't provide an explanation for all the bullshit you're doing. I can't go inside somebody's house, constantly steal some shit, and they see me doing it, and I act like I'm not stealing shit from their house when they see me stealing shit from their house. I need to elaborate on why the fuck I'm stealing from their house and give an explanation. I need to stop doing it, but I need to give a fucking explanation. You can't just keep doing stuff, keep doing it. You know what you're doing, and then you try to deflect and act like you're not doing it when you keep doing nonsense. You need to address it. I'm sorry. Ezra did nothing to address it, not once. It was only his legal team that addressed all of his nonsense for him. Yes, these celebrities need to have their people that work in legal that represent them, but we need to hear from you that you're doing better, that you want to do better. You need to tell us, because he's representing a big brand. He's representing the Flash, and I feel bad for the Flash fans that have to deal with Ezra Miller's nonsense. I'm no huge Flash fan like that, but it's like, bro, there's people that really care about you, that want to give you a chance, and you are honestly spitting in their faces. There's people who want to see you win. Don't spit in the faces of people who actually care to see you win and progress in life. Maybe they'll cast The Rock as a King variant since he ain't doing. Oh my gosh, The Rock is King. The Rock is King. You know what? They should cast Damson Idris as Kang. They had just cast Damson Idris as Kang, and I said it. They should have never made all the Kangs look like Jonathan Majors. Some of them Kangs should have looked different. If you look at Ant-Man 3, majority of the Kangs, like probably 99.999% of them, look like Jonathan Majors. And if you look at Loki and No Way Home, variants look different from one another. I'm not saying all the variants have to look different, but you did not need to make every single Kang look like Jonathan Majors. Like, that's just doing too much. Some of them could look a little bit different. You're doing too much. They all don't need to look the same. Rock is still busy chipping away at copium. Yeah, freak the Rock. All right, you guys, we're about to get ready to bail up out of here. I need to get some sleep. I'm tired. I got off of work a while back. Make sure you guys watch the stream on the playback. John Wick Chapter 4 is so far a success in the box office. Jonathan Majors going through some stuff. I hope none of it is true. Hopefully people wait and listen. Wait until all the evidence comes out and then make a decision. But honestly, if they do go to court, wait until they go to court. Wait until the sentencing, then boom. This you finalize your decision there. But wait until all the evidence comes out. Especially wait until video evidence comes out. You know, because we going off of what these articles are saying. That video evidence and the taxi driver is stronger evidence than what the fuck TMZ is saying and all these outlets. Fuck what they're saying. What does the video say? Because that video is stronger evidence than what is being written out here. And, you know, need to see that video evidence. And Shazam 2 and Ant-Man 3 are box office failures. That's all you guys need to know. Box office failures. All right, you guys are heading up out of here. Thank y'all for watching. Go to that peace, love, positivity, and all that jazz. Don't do drugs. And like I always say, deuces. Thank you. Come again.
What did you do?